Hey, Gary here with you, day 58, doing some AI blogging. Article queue over at Koala. I had said that I was going to do these in bulk mode. There are the 4 posts they finished. I got those 4 posts inside or updated, or I took all the information, copied it from Koala, put it over in the Groove blog. Now what I want to do today is use 3 of the plugins over at ChatGPT Plus and simply ask it a question. Using your own knowledge base and the plugins, can you do interlinking for my blog if I give you the URLs? It came back and it answered, yes, I can certainly help you with SEO interlinking for your blog. Here's how we can proceed. This is what I really like to do. I really like to just have a conversation at the beginning. People want magic prompts and they want secret prompts and they want to do prompt engineering and they want someone to give them a prompt to do the work. But really at the beginning of the day or at the beginning of each day when I sit down to do a task, sometimes I start a little different. Now, I do think it's valuable to have a set of prompts where you can create an assembly line, if you will, and get tasks done. But sometimes it's nice just to stop and think, if I was just to ask it the question based upon the information that I know right now, what does it know about what it can do? So in this example, using your own knowledge base and the plugins, can you do SEO interlinking for my blog if I give you the URLs? Here I'm setting the stage for the AI to be my assistant based upon its own knowledge and based upon the fact that I have the 3 plugins enabled that I have enabled, and we'll cover those. You'll see those in a second. But understand, it's not the main point here for you to see what plugins I'm using, what prompt I'm using. The point is for you to think, how can I, knowing that I have a task that I require to be done, how can I get to the end state, which is the task finished, the task completed and done the way that I want it? Using your own knowledge base and the plugins, can you do SEO interlinking for my blog if I give you the URLs? Notice I told it I was going to give it the URLs. I didn't set the stage for it to go get the URLs from the website. I already have that information, so I'm going to skip that step and just feed the information, which is the URLs. And of course, to do that, I am keeping track of everything in my handy dandy spreadsheet. So I will just simply come over and I will copy those URLs from the spreadsheet. Then I will go back to ChatGPT and I will simply just say, thanks, here are the URLs, paste in the URLs, hit go and see what we get. Now, I may not get the answer I want, based upon what it does here. You can see the first plugin, it's using Scraper. Scraper is that plugin that goes out and literally just scrapes the URLs and pulls all that information into the chat so it understands all the information that it needs, and then it'll move through and it'll identify relevant content, do keyword analysis, and interlink suggestions or create interlinking suggestions. Now you can see here it's using Scraper. Now, will it use the SEO AI core plugin? Will it use Web Pilot? Those are the 3 that I have enabled. I don't know. And the thing is, depending upon the question that you ask it or the prompt or the input you give it, that changes unless you specifically call out and tell it to use a specific plugin. It's going to pick the plugin that it thinks can do the job based upon the input, or in this case, simply asking it the question, hey, can you help me do this task? The task is, I have a set of URLs that I can give you. Can you go out and pull that information in and then do the interlinking for me or assist me, get me going in the right direction? And you can see it's still sitting here thinking as I'm talking because it has to go out and has to scrape each one of these URLs. So this is a good time to pause and reflect on where we're at in this project. The idea of this project was to spend 100 days together and using the tools at my disposal to blog. And the main tool was ChatGPT. Then I had Koala Writer specifically, and then take keywords that I found using RankIQ because I wanted to have a baseline of ideas based around a topic, and that topic being space for universeunriddled.com. Now, going back to that, I looked at it and I said, I think a good way to spend some time is inside of ChatGPT and having ChatGPT create topical clusters for us. And that simply just meant giving it a keyword based upon a topic of space. And a lot of that information did come from RankIQ. So I was able to pay RankIQ, join their monthly membership, get the information that they've collected by all the research and using the mechanisms they do, going out and discovering all the keywords around space. And then I took that and I said, these are interesting to me. For example, astronomy basics. And then that led me into cosmology basics, Big Bang Theory, and then using ChatGPT to give me keywords around topical authority to build those clusters, and then start creating content, both using ChatGPT and Koala. Of course, Koala on the back end is OpenAI. It's connected to GPT 3.5 and GPT-4. Here you can see that we are back inside of ChatGPT Plus. It has only used Scraper to this point. And then it says here are the individual summaries, here are the summaries for each of the articles. Now, it's summarizing the article for me. I didn't ask for a summary of each article, but I guess maybe that's the process. As you can see here, using your own knowledge base in the plugins, can you do SEO interlinking for my blog if you give the URLs? So I gave it the URLs. Yes, I can certainly help you with the SEO interlinking for your blog. Here's how we can proceed. It's going to identify relevant content. So maybe that is the way it's doing it, by giving us a summary. It's going to do keyword analysis. I can use the SEO analysis tool to identify the most relevant keywords for each blog post. And then it's going to provide me the interlinking suggestions. So it's doing its thing here. Here are summaries. So we're going to see what happens as it gives a summary for each one of these. This is actually really interesting how it's summarizing each one of these articles. It gives me an idea, or a better idea, of even the content that's out there on the blog. And that's another thing, the discovery of what we do every time I show up to do one of these. There's lots of work in the background. I try to show everything I do here on camera, but lots of times it takes doing this in the background. So it's sitting there working while I'm talking to you. And we spend a lot of time just sort of thinking, going, this is interesting. And now you can see we're back. Now let's interlink these articles. Here are some suggestions. In the Introduction to Cosmology article, you can link the Big Bang Theory overview when you first mention Big Bang Theory. You can also link to A to Z of cosmology at the end of the article for readers who want to learn more about cosmology. Now you can see here it hasn't given me rich anchor text, but then again, I did not ask for rich anchor text. So as it's working here, that brings me back to another idea and another point of, again, when you are prompting the AI, and in this case, I prompted the AI to just give me suggestions about interlinking. So I wasn't specific and didn't say, give me rich anchor text from existing text inside of the blog post, which we did that back in another update, and I covered that, and I said, I need to get more specific. And in this case, I already know I need to be specific, but the thing about it is I also want to understand, or I want to think sometimes, hey, I just want to have a conversation today to see how you can help me with these 3 plugins if I provide you this information. And then I'll get more detailed as I go. So we're back inside of ChatGPT. Now let's interlink these articles. Here are some suggestions. You can see that it stopped. I will need to say, please continue. This does happen. This is a lot of information here. So it's going to go ahead now, after it gave us the ideas for interlinking, and it's saying, remember the goal of interlinking. And this is what I really like. I really enjoy the fact that it provides feedback in the way that after it summarizes, or it takes your input when you give it a prompt. Or in this case, I'm just going to drop the word prompt and say, when you're having a conversation with the AI assistant, it's giving you feedback and it's saying, great, here's the information that you asked for. Here's the work that I was able to do for you based upon the information you gave me. But here is some more relevant information, or here are some other things to remember. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to go back up and I want to use all this information that it used from Scraper and the information here that it said it could do for me to give me interlinking suggestions. And again, goes back to my original prompt, and it wasn't detailed enough. Always be as detailed as possible. Just like if you're working with a person, you need to be specific in the task. And lots of times I think, or I know, that when I'm working with the AI, I get lazy and I'm just like, using your own knowledge base in the plugins, can you do SEO interlinking for my blog if I give you the URLs? Yeah, it can. And it said yes. And then it did it, and it gave me a summary of each article. And then it said, now let's interlink these articles. Here are some suggestions. And then it gave me a little more feedback, and it said, remember the goal of interlinking is to provide your readers with additional relevant content to explore, which can help increase the time they spend on your site, reduce bounce rate, and improve your SEO. Here are some additional interlinking suggestions. So it gave me 12 suggestions, and then it gave me 11 more. Now, how did it pick 12 and 11? I don't know. That's the power of this. That's the beauty. It's also the frustrating part of doing this. So now I'm going to stop and think. So let's try this as a prompt. Or again, throwing out the word prompt, and let me try this as additional instructions based upon the data that we were given, based upon the initial question that we asked, and then the input being the URLs that we gave it to crunch the data from, or to go out, pull the information, and then give us the response. Great, thanks. Now, please use this information and provide me a table of interlink suggestions using the actual words from the blog post and creating relevant, rich anchor text for 2 links per blog post in each of the blog posts I gave you URLs for. Please provide this information in a table that shows me all the information I need to apply the interlinking to my blog post. Now, a lot of times I will write these instructions or this prompt, and then I'll get the information back and I'll say, what in the world did you do? That's not what I asked for. Then I go back and I look at my prompt, or I look at the instruction and I say, well, yeah, that's basically what I asked for. It was too generic. I wasn't detailed enough. Detail, detail, detail. The devil's in the details, and it's just the way it is. So now we go back and you can see it's creating me a table, and it says for the blog post, Introduction to Cosmology, anchor text is Big Bang Theory, link to the post Big Bang Theory overview, more about cosmology, link to the A to Z of cosmology. Evidence supporting the theory, link to Big Bang Theory evidence, evolution of the universe. So then after it finishes this table for those URLs, then we have to actually do the work. We have to go and we have to search and to make sure that it used the real text from each one of these. Sometimes it does well, sometimes it doesn't do so well. As you know, AI hallucination is a real thing. So what we'll do is we'll let this run in the background, and then we'll go over and we'll check a couple of them together and link them and then finish up this update. So you can see here now it finished up. Please note that the anchor text should ideally be a part of a sentence in your blog post that naturally leads to the topic of the linked article. The anchor text suggestions provided here are based on the summaries of your articles and may need to be adjusted to fit naturally into your content. So we may not find these words exactly because they were based on the summaries. But let's see what we got. And of course, that's part of the editing process as well, is when you start to interlink to say, okay, does this make sense? Is this doing what I want it to do? When I read it, does it have a natural flow just like it said? And that's part of the process of using the AI. The AI is an assistant, and it's letting you know, it's giving you that friendly reminder to look for this anchor text and make sure that it makes sense. So we'll go ahead and we will copy that. Big Bang Theory, Introduction to Cosmology is the post. We'll go back to the post and we'll look for introduction. We'll go ahead and open that editor for this post. Here, I'm assuming if we look for Big Bang Theory, we're going to see it. As we dive into the world of cosmology, we'll learn about the Big Bang Theory. Here we can highlight this and we can add this link right here. Go back and we will grab that link, copy the link, and we'll go ahead and we will just plop that in right there and save that one. Then we'll go back and we'll look at more about cosmology, and we'll see if we can find that one as well by searching. And we will see that here the phrase more about cosmology is not showing up. So what we're going to be looking for is about cosmology. Then here we're just looking for the word cosmology. You can see here, what is cosmology? Cosmology is the super cool science that helps us understand how the universe has began. So what we're looking for now is a chance to find a place for interlinking. So for example, we were looking for more about cosmology, but the amazing story of cosmology, I think would be a good opportunity here for us to link based upon this, more about cosmology. We can go ahead and we can copy that link and we can say the amazing story of cosmology, and we could go ahead and interlink that to the A to Z of cosmology, because that's basically telling the amazing story where we're covering everything that we need to know. And if you go back and check the update where we created those pages were created using prompts or asking the AI to act as an individual that was a person that had been studying cosmology for 20 years and then giving information to a beginner. So that's what we're doing here. So we'll go ahead and we'll interlink that for now. But you can see the process. We'll go ahead and publish that. We'll come back to this. Of course, if I wanted ChatGPT to know, I would have to feed that information in here and keep track of this blog post. And of course, turn this into a data set, a CSV, for example, a CSV file that I could then upload over into the Google blog tracker that you see right here. If I was to look here, I believe I created a new spreadsheet and I called that internal links for universeunriddled.com. Here you can see some of the interlinks, and you saw this spreadsheet in one of the other updates that we've been doing here as we are moving along to day 100. You can see here I interlinked this URL. I also interlinked the blog post title, the rich anchor text. So we've done this exercise before, but I wanted to cover it again and just show you now that it's changed a little bit since that update that we did the internal linking. I'll go ahead and I will leave that update in the description, as well as I'll add it into the card so you can check out that. But the best thing to do if you're just landing on this case study, check out the playlist, go through the playlist, go back to day 100, watch this again, see what I've done. And I challenge you to start your own 100-day AI blogging series. You don't have to obviously make videos and share it on YouTube. It'd be pretty cool if you did, but just go and just think, how can the AI help me create a blog, help me create helpful information, get that helpful information out to the world, and then focus and think about, as an affiliate marketer, how can I use this to make money? Obviously, the answer is simple. You utilize what I call my top strategy. You generate traffic by starting a topic or creating an idea around a topic and then generating helpful, useful content. Then you pick an offer that makes sense, that supports that content, that ultimately becomes the solution that people are looking for because they have a problem. And that problem is not just a problem like I got to get something fixed, but the problem in this case is I have a problem. I want to learn how to do astronomy, or I want to understand astronomy, and then I need to know certain tools and other information that I need. And that allows me as the affiliate marketer to provide that information and give my reader the solution, just like you can give your reader the solution, which is a link over to your affiliate offer. And then you can take those people, you can add them into a group, a Facebook group, an email list, anything along that line to keep communicating with them, and then ultimately provide them more offers and essentially do the thing that we're trying to do, which is make money as an affiliate marketer, because that's why we're doing this entire exercise here on 30-Minute Marketing. That's the point, to understand how to get started by creating content, be helpful, and then ultimately earn money by helping other people. If you're having fun like I am and you're learning, go ahead, give this video a thumbs up. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments. Look forward to seeing you next video update. See you then. Talk to you later. Bye.